Hello there, and welcome to the Daily Dose of Lore. Tonight, we're drifting into the world of Westeros and beyond, where ancient stones hold secrets darker than any dungeon, and mists carry whispers of civilizations turned to dust. Let this be your moment to settle. The world outside can wait. We're exploring the strangest corners of this realm, places where shadow meets legend, where ruins hold memories of fire and ice, and where even the bravest travelers fear to tread. Some mysteries will drift past like fog over water. Others may linger in your thoughts. If this helps you unwind, a like helps others find their way here too. But for now, let's begin. Beyond the wall stretches a wilderness so vast that even wildlings who spent their lives there cannot map its furthest reaches. The haunted forest earned its name through centuries of whispered tales, stories of faces carved in weirwood trunks that seem to follow travelers with hollow eyes, of winds that carry voices speaking in the old tongue, of clearings where snow never settles, though winter grips everything around them. The trees grow so thick in some places that sunlight becomes a memory, and the forest floor lies in perpetual twilight. Wildlings speak of groves deep within where the children of the forest once danced, places where the boundary between the living world and something older grows thin as morning mist. The air beneath those ancient branches carries a weight, a presence that makes even the boldest stop and listen. In the deepest parts, silence falls so complete that your own heartbeat becomes thunder in your ears. Hardhome sits on the northern shore like a warning written in ash and bone. 600 years ago, this was a thriving wildling town, bustling with trade and life. Then came one terrible night when the sky itself seemed to burn. Survivors spoke of screams that echoed across the frozen sea, of flames that rose without smoke, of darkness that moved with purpose and hunger. When dawn finally came, the town lay in ruins, buildings melted like candles, bodies scattered and strange. The free folk abandoned Hardhome entirely, leaving it to wind and ghosts. Even now, centuries later, no wildling will camp on that shore. The remains still stand as testament to something catastrophic, their blackened timbers jutting from snow like broken fingers reaching toward an indifferent sky. Sailors passing by report that even from their ships, they can feel something wrong about that place, a wrongness that seeps into bones and settles cold. The Frostfangs rise along the western edge of the lands beyond the wall, their peaks jagged and merciless. These mountains hold caves that tunnel deeper than any cartographer has mapped, passages that twist through ice and stone into darkness complete. Giants once made their homes in these caverns, and some say a few still do, living in isolation so profound that human voices have become legend to them. The caves hold ice formations that catch whatever light penetrates that deep, creating cathedrals of frozen beauty where water has shaped pillars and arches over thousands of winters. The wildlings tell of deeper passages still, tunnels that lead down to where the earth's warmth keeps underground rivers flowing, places where strange fish swim in eternal darkness, and the air tastes of minerals and time. Few who venture into the deepest caves return, and those who do speak of hearing things in the black, sounds like breathing, like footsteps, like words in languages never meant for human tongues. The land of always winter lies so far north that even legends struggle to describe it. Old Nan spoke of this place in her tales, describing it as the source of all cold, where winter itself was born in ages past. No map shows its borders because no traveler has returned from attempting to reach them. The wildlings believe this is where the White Walkers retreated after the long night ended, waiting in frozen halls built of ice that never melts. Some claim to have glimpsed strange lights on the horizon when standing at the edge of the known north. Glows like cold fire, moving with purpose across snows that go on forever. Whether these lights are real or merely tricks of exhausted eyes and desperate hope, none can say with certainty. The very thought of that place seems to lower temperatures, as if speaking of it invites its attention. It remains one of the world's great unknowns, a blank space on every map where imagination fills the void with fears, ancient and primal. The Night Fort stands as the oldest castle on the wall, its stones laid thousands of years before the current watch began their vigil. This massive structure was abandoned centuries ago when the watch's numbers dwindled, its halls left to gather ice and memory. The castle earned dark fame through the legends that cling to its walls like frost. Here, according to the stories, the Night's King once ruled, taking a wife with skin pale as ice and eyes blue as winter sky. Here, the Rat Cook served the Andal King his own son baked in a pie, a crime so terrible that the gods transformed him into a pale rat condemned to eat his own children forever. The black gate beneath the Night Fort is carved from weirwood, a door that opens only for brothers of the Night's Watch, asking them questions in a voice like wind through leaves. Standing in the Night Fort's courtyard, surrounded by buildings that groan and settle in the cold, you can almost hear those old stories whispering through empty windows and along abandoned battlements. Skagos rises from the sea east of the north, an island of dark reputation and darker reality. The mainland considers Skags little better than savages, and the island's isolation has allowed customs to persist there that elsewhere faded into history. Tales speak of practices that keep ships far from those rocky shores, of traditions involving the dead that mainlanders dare not contemplate. The island's name means are stone in the old tongue, and stone dominates everything. Stone beaches, stone cliffs, stone houses huddled against winds that rake across the island without mercy. Unicorns roam the highland forests, though these bear little resemblance to the gentle creatures of children's stories. They are fierce, shaggy beasts with wicked horns, as dangerous as any predator. The few traders who risk Skagos waters return with tales of standing stones arranged in circles under the moon, of caves that tunnel into the island's heart, of a people who watch newcomers with eyes that hold no welcome. Davos Seaworth faced his possible journey there with dread, knowing that Skagos is where men go when they wish to disappear from the world entirely. Moat Cailín guards the northern approach to the neck, though guards may be too generous a term for the ruin it has become. Once a mighty fortress, it now consists of 3 crumbling towers surrounded by swamp and pestilence. The ancient stones predate even the first men, laid by those who came before, using techniques lost to time. The moat that gives the castle its name has merged with the surrounding bogs, creating a maze of channels where solid ground vanishes without warning. The air here carries disease like pollen, and men stationed at Moat Cailín often waste away, their strength seeping into the marsh along with their will to live. Lizard lions lurk in the murky waters, and the crannogmen who make the neck their home move through the swamps like ghosts, appearing and vanishing at will. The castle's remaining towers lean at unsettling angles, their stones covered in moss and lichen that makes them appear diseased. Even in summer, mist clings to Moat Kylan, and the chorus of frogs and insects creates a sound like whispered madness that never stops, day or night. The Isle of Faces rests in the center of the God's Eye, a lake in the Riverlands that mirrors the sky with perfect stillness. No one has set foot on that island in thousands of years, not since the first men and children of the forest made their pact there and brought an end to their wars. The island is covered entirely in weirwood trees, their white bark and blood-red leaves creating a canopy that, from a distance, looks like a wound in the landscape. The green men dwell there still, according to legend, guardians of something sacred and ancient, keepers of secrets from when the world was young. They allow no visitors, protecting their solitude with means none can explain. Fishermen on the God's Eye report seeing lights moving among the trees at night, hearing singing in no language they recognize, finding their boats pushed gently but firmly away if they drift too close. The water around the island stays calm even when storms whip the rest of the lake to fury. Those who stare too long at the Isle of Faces report feeling watched, feeling judged, feeling small beneath the gaze of something vast and patient that measures time in centuries rather than heartbeats. Ashai by the Shadow sits at the eastern edge of the known world, where maps begin to show uncertainty in their lines, and legends replace solid information. This city of black stone stretches along the banks of the Ash River, its walls and buildings constructed from a material that seems to drink light rather than reflect it. The stones themselves are a mystery. No one knows who quarried them or when, only that they predate any civilization that keeps records. No children laugh in Ashai's streets because no children are born there. No birds sing because no birds fly through that shadowed sky. Everything the city needs, food, animals, the very stuff of life, must be imported from elsewhere, as if the land itself has turned barren in response to something fundamental about the place. Shadowbinders walk Ashai's night markets, trading in mysteries and impossible promises, their faces hidden behind masks that show no eyes. The air tastes of spices and ash, of incense burned to cover less pleasant scents, of power that has no name in any common tongue. Those who dwell in Ashai move through its streets like ghosts, and visitors report feeling as if they have stepped out of the world they know into somewhere adjacent, somewhere darker, somewhere watching. The shadow extends beyond Ashai, a land where even the Shadowbinders fear to travel far. Legends speak of it as a place where the sun barely penetrates the constant haze, where the very air seems thick with something more than moisture. Those who claim to have journeyed into the shadow, and such claims should be weighed carefully, for few who venture there return, describe a landscape of twisted rock formations, valleys filled with fog that never lifts, and ruins that predate any known civilization. Some say dragons still live in the shadow's furthest reaches, and worse things than dragons, creatures that have no names because no one who has seen them survived to give them one. The shadow appears on maps as a gray space beyond Ashai, marked with uncertainty and speculation. Traders report that gems from the shadow glow with their own light, that plants harvested there carry properties both wondrous and dangerous, that the very stones remember things best forgotten. The Shadowbinders themselves, who traffic in darkness and binding, speak of the shadow with reverence mixed with dread, as one might speak of a sleeping beast too vast to comprehend. Stygai, the corpse city, lies somewhere within the shadow, though no map agrees on precisely where. Even shadowbinders, who walk paths most would flee, refuse to approach Stygi. The name itself is whispered rather than spoken aloud, as if saying it too clearly might draw unwanted attention. Whatever Stygi was, whatever purpose it served, has been lost to time and terror. The few tales that emerge from the shadow agree on certain details. Buildings of stone older than Ashai, streets empty save for the wind, an atmosphere of wrongness so profound that even animals refuse to enter its boundaries. Some stories claim that those who venture into Stygi do return, but changed, no longer quite human, carrying something back with them that should have remained sealed away. Whether Stygi is truly a place of death or simply dead itself, abandoned for reasons now forgotten, none can say. It exists in that space between myth and reality, a name on ancient maps, a warning in old stories, a question without answers lurking at the very edge of the known world. High Heart rises above the surrounding riverlands, a hill crowned with stumps where weirwood trees once grew. The children of the forest made their last stand here against the first men, and the blood spilled that day seeped so deep into the soil that some say it never dried. The weirwoods were cut down, but their roots remain, and the hill pulses with residual power like a wound that refuses to heal. A dwarf woman lives atop High Heart, ancient beyond counting, her head shaved clean to show the red marks of dreams. She sees things in her sleep, visions of past and future tangled together, prophecies delivered in riddles that make sense only after their fulfillment. Lords and ladies have climbed High Heart seeking her wisdom, leaving silver and respect in exchange for words that might illuminate or confound. The wind blows constantly across the hilltop, even on still days elsewhere, as if the hill itself breathes. Standing among those ancient stumps, you can feel the weight of what happened here, the memory of violence and loss pressed into earth that will never forget, never release what it has held for thousands of years. The haunted forest's deepest groves hold weirwood trees that have stood since before men first walked beneath their branches. The faces carved into their pale bark are works of the children of the forest, marked with tools and techniques lost when that race faded from the world. Each face seems to hold a different expression: sorrow, rage, wisdom, despair, and their eyes, filled with dried sap, red as blood, appear to track movement through the undergrowth. The children created these faces as a way to watch the world, to remain present even as their numbers dwindled. Through the weirwood network, those with the right gifts can see across vast distances, can peer into the past, can witness events happening far from where their body sits. The trees themselves are incredibly ancient, growing for thousands of years, becoming harder than oak, their roots spreading through the earth like veins through flesh. In the silence of winter, when snow muffles all sound, some claim to hear the weirwoods speaking to one another, a susurration of leaves that carries information in patterns human minds cannot quite parse. These groves are sacred spaces, places where the boundary between the seen and unseen grows gossamer thin. Harrenhal looms over the God's Eye like a monument to hubris and its consequences. Harren the Black built this castle to be impregnable, its walls so thick that no siege engine could crack them, its towers so tall they seemed to challenge the sky itself. He conscripted thousands of workers, driving them mercilessly to completion, using weirwood from the Isle of Faces for the massive doors, a sacrilege that earned curses from those who valued the old ways. On the very day Harren declared his fortress complete and unassailable, Aegon the Conqueror arrived on Dragonback. Stone walls meant nothing against dragonfire. Balerion the Black Dread bathed Harrenhal in flames so hot they melted the stone itself, twisting the towers and fusing the architecture into the nightmarish shapes that remain today. Harren and his sons perished in the fires, and ever since, a dark legend has followed the castle. Every house that has held Harrenhal has met with tragedy and ruin. The Strongs, the Lothstons, the Wents, all fell to misfortune, death, and decay. The castle is too large to maintain properly, too expensive to keep staffed, and too cursed to hold for long. Its halls echo with silence broken only by wind through shattered windows, and locals swear they hear screams on certain nights when the moon hides its face. The Night Fort's Black Gate opens only for Brothers of the Night's Watch, a door carved from weirwood that has stood beneath the castle since its founding. The gate itself is a face, huge, ancient, weathered by centuries. And when a watchman speaks the Night's Watch oath to it, the mouth opens, revealing a tunnel through the wall itself. The wood is cold to the touch, colder than ice, and the voice that responds to the oath sounds like wind through winter branches, like the last breath of something dying, like words formed from the creak and groan of timber older than kingdoms. Passing through the Black Gate feels like being swallowed, like entering the gullet of some massive creature, and the tunnel beyond stretches through absolute darkness, its walls dripping with moisture that never freezes despite the cold. The gate is magic made manifest, a relic from when such things were more common, and its continued function after all these centuries suggests that whatever power created it has not yet faded from the world. Those who have passed through describe a sensation of being judged, of having their essence weighed by something that cares nothing for rank or wealth, only for truth. Casterly Rock was not built but carved, hollowed from a mountain of solid stone over generations by the Casterlys, before the Lannisters took it through deception and marriage. The rock itself sits above Lannisport like a golden guardian, and beneath its occupied halls and inhabited chambers lie layers and levels that descend into darkness. The deepest mines that made the Lannisters wealthy are abandoned now, played out, their gold long since extracted. But the tunnels and caverns remain, a labyrinth of passages where men have been lost and never found, where the drip of water echoes in chambers vast enough to swallow castles. Some of these deep places contain carvings from before the Casterlys, symbols and images that predate Andal, First Men, or any people with names. The darkness down there is absolute, the kind of black that makes your eyes create false lights just to have something to see. Miners who worked the deepest veins told stories of hearing things, scraping sounds, distant voices, the sense of vast spaces opening nearby, though their lamps revealed only stone. The Lannisters' wealth was built on gold pulled from this mountain, but they extracted more than precious metal. They disturbed something in those depths, something that still stirs in passages now abandoned to rats and silence. Winterfell's crypts extend deep beneath the castle, farther than most living Starks have ventured. The oldest levels, where the most ancient kings of winter sleep in darkness, lie beyond the reach of torchlight from the upper chambers. The deeper you descend, the older the dead, and the more oppressive the atmosphere becomes. The Starks place iron swords across the laps of their buried kings, a tradition whose original purpose has been forgotten, though some whisper it was meant to keep the dead at rest in their stone beds. The air in the crypts is cold even in summer, and sounds behave strangely in those underground halls, sometimes carrying clearly across vast distances, other times swallowed completely by silence that feels intentional. The passages between tombs were carved from bedrock, and in places you can see marks left by ancient tools, the work of hands that labored in darkness to honor the dead. Few Starks in recent centuries have descended to the deepest levels, where the names on tombs have weathered beyond reading, and the statues that mark each resting place have faces worn smooth by time and moisture. There is a sense, in those lowest reaches, of something watching, of ancient attention focused on whoever intrudes upon the slumber of forgotten kings. The Dreadfort earned its name through the actions of the Boltons, whose reputation for cruelty extends back through generations like a river of suffering. The castle itself sits on a bluff above the weeping water, its walls dark and its towers sharp. The dungeons beneath the Dreadfort are extensive, designed with terrible purpose, places where the Boltons perfected practices that other houses abandoned centuries ago. The very stones of those lower levels seem to hold echoes of what was done in them, and men assigned to guard duty in the dungeons speak of sounds that have no source, of cold spots that appear without reason, of the sensation of being touched by invisible hands. The Boltons displayed the results of their work on their walls and gates as warnings to those who might oppose them. The legacy of these acts lingers in the castle's atmosphere, in the way shadows seem darker there, in the reluctance of servants to venture into certain wings after sunset. The Dreadfort is a place where cruelty was refined into art form, where suffering was studied and prolonged, and that history has seeped into its foundations like blood into wood. The Quiet Isle sits in the mouth of the Trident, home to the elder brother and his followers. These monks have taken vows of silence and contemplation, tending their gardens and offering sanctuary to those who wash ashore after the river has tried to claim them. The isle itself is accessible only at low tide, when the waters pull back to reveal a causeway of stones and mud. At high tide, the island vanishes beneath the Trident's flow, making it appear and disappear according to nature's rhythm. The monks live in simple buildings, their days marked by bells that ring across the water, their lives dedicated to healing and peace after witnessing the violence of the world. The elder brother walks with a staff, his face weathered by years and secrets, and offers shelter without judgment to those the river delivers to his shore. The island's sceptry contains a refuge for broken men, warriors too damaged by their experiences to continue fighting, souls seeking peace in a world that offers little. Mist often clings to the Quiet Isle, and from a distance, the buildings appear to float above the water like a mirage or vision of somewhere better than the mainland allows. Old Stones sits on the Blue Fork in the Riverlands, the ruins of a fortress so ancient that even its original name has been lost to time. Once, this was a great stronghold, home to the River Kings who ruled before the Andals came. Now, only broken walls remain, overrun with moss and wildflowers, the stones scattered like teeth knocked from a giant's jaw. According to legend, Jenny of Old Stones danced among these ruins with ghosts, twirling to music only she could hear, partnering with lovers and lords long dead. The song about her is sad and sweet, speaking of flowers in her hair and the sadness in her smile. Catelyn Stark passed through Old Stones and felt the weight of its lost history, the melancholy of a place that once held power and glory, now reduced to rubble where shepherds graze their flocks. The wind through Old Stones makes sounds like distant music, like voices carried from some time when the walls stood tall and banners flew from towers now toppled. This is a place of endings, where what was great has crumbled, where memory is the only defense against complete obliteration. Summerhall was built by the Targaryens as a pleasure palace, a place of retreat from the responsibilities of ruling, lighter and more graceful than the Red Keep's martial architecture. It stood for less than a century before fire consumed it utterly. Prince Duncan Targaryen, the heir to the throne, died there along with his father, King Aegon V, and many others. The tragedy at Summerhall remains shrouded in mystery. What exactly happened that terrible day? Why so many died? What the Targaryens were attempting when disaster struck? Some whisper they were trying to hatch dragon eggs, using wildfire or blood magic or both, seeking to return dragons to the world. Whatever the truth, the palace burned so hot that stones cracked and towers collapsed, and the blaze lit the sky for miles around. The ruins stand now as blackened reminders, and few venture there. Locals claim the place is haunted, that on certain nights you can see lights moving through the wreckage and hear screams carried on winds that blow from no particular direction. The mystery of Summerhall may never be fully known, but its remnants serve as warning that even the blood of dragons cannot escape fire's judgment. Castamere once housed the Rains, a family whose wealth and pride rivaled the Lannisters themselves. That pride proved their undoing when they challenged Tywin Lannister's authority early in his rule as Lord of Casterly Rock. Tywin's response was methodical and absolute. He diverted a river, flooding the mines beneath Castamere, while the entire family sheltered inside, drowning them in darkness and rising water. Not a single soul escaped. The castle was abandoned afterward, left to sink into the lake that now covers it, and the Rains of Castamere became a song of warning. What happens to those who oppose the Lions of Lannister? The waters of the lake are murky and cold, and fishermen avoid it, claiming that their nets bring up strange catches and that on quiet evenings they can hear sounds bubbling up from below. Echoes of screams, of pounding on stone, of a family's final moments preserved in water and silence. Castamere serves as proof that some tragedies are deliberate, carefully calculated acts of annihilation meant to echo through generations as deterrent and demonstration of power without mercy. The Smoking Sea lies where old Valyria once dominated the world, before the doom consumed it in a single catastrophic day. The water here boils without fire, heated by volcanic activity beneath the waves, and the air above it shimmers with heat and carries the stench of sulfur. Mists rise constantly, thick and toxic, creating a permanent fog that makes navigation treacherous and breathing difficult. Ships that venture into the Smoking Sea rarely return, and those that do carry crews ravaged by strange diseases, their holds filled with nightmares rather than treasure. The water itself has turned poisonous, killing fish and birds that fly too low. Volcanic vents open and close without warning, sending geysers of superheated steam into the air, creating temporary islands of pumice that dissolve as quickly as they form. Beneath those roiling waters lie the ruins of the greatest civilization the world has known. Towers toppled, pyramids collapsed, roads that once carried dragons and dragon lords now drowned beneath waves that will never let them rest. The Smoking Sea is both grave and warning, a monument to the truth that no power, however great, stands forever against the forces that shaped the earth itself. The ruins of old Valyria emerge from the Smoking Sea like broken dreams made manifest. Towers of fused stone rise from the waves at odd angles, their surfaces melted and twisted by heat beyond imagining. These structures were built by dragon lords at the height of their power, constructed with magic woven into their very foundations, designed to endure millennia. They lasted less than 5,000 years before the doom broke them. The architecture that remains visible shows impossible geometries, curves and angles that seem to defy the eye. Doorways that lead nowhere, windows that open onto interiors filled with water and volcanic rock. Dragons once nested atop these towers, their riders guiding them down to roosts made of stone shaped like living things. Now those same perches hold only the bones of the last dragons, calcified and fused to the stone by heat that came after. Occasional expeditions attempt to salvage treasures from old Valyria. Valyrian steel, dragon eggs, ancient books that might have survived in sealed vaults. But most end in death or worse. The ruins hold dangers beyond the physical. Madness waiting in shadows, stone men with grayscale reaching from murky corners, visions that might be memories of glory or premonitions of futures that will never arrive. Croyane sits on the Rhoyne River in the region called the Sorrows, its ruins jutting from the water like broken teeth. Once, this was called the Palace of Love, the most beautiful city on the Rhoyne, a place of festivals and joy. Nymeria's warriors destroyed it when the Rhoynar fell before the Valyrian Freehold's dragons, and grayscale infested the survivors. Now, Croyane belongs to the Stone Men, those afflicted with grayscale so advanced that their skin has turned gray and hard, their minds deteriorating along with their bodies. They haunt the ruins, dwelling in structures half submerged, waiting in the mist for boats to pass close enough to reach. The Bridge of Dream once connected Croyane's two halves, a span so beautiful that poets wrote of its reflection in the river as surpassing the original. Now the bridge is broken, its remaining sections jutting from the water at angles, covered in moss and time's decay, ready to crumble beneath any weight foolish enough to trust it. Fog lies thick over the Sorrows always, even when surrounding areas bask in sun, as if the region generates its own weather from grief and disease. The stone men call out from within that fog, their voices carrying across the water, sometimes pleading, sometimes threatening, always touched with the madness that comes when one's humanity slowly turns to stone. The Sorrows earned its name honestly, for few who enter that stretch of the Rhoyne emerge with joy intact. The ruined cities of the Rhoynar dot both banks, Goyan, Drohe, Ni Sar, and others whose names have been forgotten along with their glories. Each is home to stone men now, communities of the afflicted who have abandoned hope of cure and gathered in places where their condition can progress without judgment. The disease spreads through touch, making even the sight of a stone man cause for alarm and distance. The waters themselves carry grayscale's taint, and any wound exposed to them risks infection. Wise sailors hug the river's center, staying as far from either bank as possible, burning incense meant to ward off disease, painting protective symbols on their hulls. The mist that perpetually shrouds the Sorrows creates a dreamlike atmosphere where distances become uncertain and landmarks shift. Time moves strangely there, hours that feel like days, days that pass like moments. Some claim this temporal confusion is part of grayscale's curse, that the disease affects not just the body but perception itself, turning sufferers into living statues frozen between life and death, present and past, hope and despair. Volantis, first and greatest of the free cities founded by Valyria, sits astride the mouth of the Rhoyne like a jewel on a corpse. The city split into two parts, the ancient black walls sheltering the descendants of Valyrian blood, and the sprawling outer city where slaves and freedmen outnumber citizens 10 to 1. Inside the black walls live the old blood families, jealously guarding their Valyrian heritage, breeding for the silver hair and purple eyes that mark them as chosen. They speak High Valyrian still, the pure tongue rather than the bastard versions used in other free cities, and they keep their bloodlines separate through laws that forbid marriage outside the walls. The architecture inside echoes old Valyria itself. Tall towers, curved bridges connecting buildings at dizzying heights, dragon imagery worked into every surface. Outside, the city is chaos. Massive slave markets, temples to Red Roller, where shadows dance in firelight, streets that wind without logic, taverns where information and lies trade at equal value. The long bridge spans the river, so vast that buildings sit upon it, a city within a city connecting Volantis's halves. Standing on that bridge at sunset, watching the Rhoyne turn to blood red beneath a dying sun, you can almost imagine the glory that was before the doom reduced Valyria to memory and scattered its children across Essos like seeds from a flower gone to ruin. Yin rises from Sithorios' jungles, a city of black stone that has defeated every attempt at colonization. The stones are oily to the touch, slick with moisture that never dries despite the tropical heat, and they are massive, some weighing many tons, fitted together with such precision that no blade can slip between them. Who built Yan remains unknown, for it predates any people who keep records. The Giscari tried to settle there, drawn by the city's mystery and strategic position. They vanished without trace. The pirates of the Basilisk Isles attempted to make it their stronghold. They lasted longer but eventually abandoned the place, refusing to speak of what drove them out. Every attempt to claim Yin ends the same way, colonists disappearing, sometimes one by one, other times entire groups at once, leaving behind meals uneaten and fires still burning. The jungle around Yin is dense enough to make breathing difficult, vines and creepers covering every surface. But the city itself remains strangely clear of vegetation, as if the plants themselves refuse to grow on those black stones. The heat in Yen is oppressive, crushing, and the sounds of the jungle, monkey howls, bird calls, insect songs, stop completely when you enter the city proper, replaced by silence so profound it seems to have weight and presence. The green hell of Sotharios extends inland from the coasts, a jungle so thick that map makers draw vague borders and add warnings about the unknown beyond. This is a land of diseases that have no names, parasites that eat their hosts from inside, plants that release toxins to protect themselves from herbivores. The trees grow so close and tall that the forest floor exists in perpetual twilight, lit by glowing fungi and bioluminescent insects that provide the only light some depths ever see. Expeditions into the interior return smaller than they went in, if they return at all, carrying tales of creatures no one has classified. Lizards larger than horses, apes with human intelligence in their eyes, snakes that can swallow a man whole. The heat never relents, not in day or night, winter or summer, and the moisture in the air is so heavy that breathing feels like drowning slowly. Rivers run through the green hell, their waters dark and swift, hiding crocodiles and worse things beneath surfaces that look calm. The deeper you travel, the stranger everything becomes, as if the laws of nature themselves bend and break the farther from civilization you venture. Maesters debate whether Sothorios is truly another continent or simply a large island, for none have crossed it to reach another coast. The Green Hell keeps its secrets jealously, and the price of learning them is almost always death. Basilisk Point juts into the summer sea from Sothorios' northern coast, its name earned from the countless basilisks that infest its jungles and beaches. These creatures, not true lizards but something more dangerous, have toxic bites and aggressive temperaments. They hunt in packs, showing intelligence that suggests something more than mere animal cunning. The pirates who use the Basilisk Isles as bases venture onto the point occasionally, seeking fresh water or hunting exotic creatures for sale to Associ merchants. They go armed, in numbers, and they do not linger. The point's interior holds ruins similar to Yin's Black Stone, suggestions of a civilization that built extensively across Sothorios before vanishing so completely that even legends about them are fragmentary. The beaches are white sand, marred by driftwood and bones, littered with shells from mollusks whose living inhabitants are poisonous to eat. The sea around Basilisk Point runs deep and dark, and swimmers report unsettling sensations of being watched from below, of movements in peripheral vision that vanish when looked at directly, of currents that seem to pull toward specific points with purpose rather than flowing naturally. Something about the point feels ancient and wrong, as if the land itself rejects human presence. Leng lies far to the east, an island large enough to be considered a small continent, home to people whose customs and appearance differ greatly from those in Westeros or the Free Cities. The Lengi are said to descend from the great empire of the Dawn, their features and coloring marking them as kin to Yeti's people, though they maintain fierce independence and reject any claims of vassalage. The interior of Leng is dominated by high plateaus and deep valleys, terrain so rugged that it has never been fully mapped. Ruins dot the landscape, cities built by the maze makers whose culture vanished millennia ago, leaving behind structures of stone cut with impossible precision. These mazes are not mere puzzles, but vast architectural complexes, their passages winding through mountains, their purposes lost to time. Some say the mazes were temples, others claim they were prisons. Still others suggest they served as passages between our world and somewhere else entirely. The Lengi avoid the mazes generally, though a few serve as guides for foolish treasure seekers who believe ancient gold outweighs ancient curses. Mist clings to Leng's mountains perpetually, and the peaks are said to be haunted by spirits of the maze makers, entities that punish those who disturb the ruins they left behind. Sailors who visit Leng's ports find it unsettling, a place that feels like nowhere else, where even the stars seem positioned differently than they should be. Noth is called the Isle of Butterflies, a name that sounds gentle until you understand what it means. This island in the summer sea is paradise to look upon. Soft beaches, clear waters, lush vegetation, and clouds of butterflies that fill the air with color and movement. The Nyathi themselves are peaceful people who oppose violence in all forms, a philosophy that should have made them easy prey for slavers and raiders. Instead, Nyath is one of the safest places in the known world due to the butterflies. Within days of arrival, any outsider begins to feel ill. Fever, chills, muscle pain, organs slowly shutting down. The butterfly fever kills with near-perfect efficiency, sparing only those born on Nath itself. Slaving ships have tried to raid Nath, only to find their entire crew dead before reaching friendly ports. The Nathi bury invaders with the same gentleness they apply to everything, mourning the deaths even as the butterflies protect them more effectively than any army could. The island sits in its isolation, beautiful and deadly, proof that nature can be kinder guardian than any blade. The butterflies drift through the air like living flowers, each one carrying in its body the means to kill. Each one part of a defensive system so perfect it seems designed rather than evolved. The 5 forts stand across the far northeastern reaches of Essos, in lands so distant that few in Westeros have heard of them, and fewer still could find them on a map. These fortifications are massive beyond comprehension. Walls of fused black stone rising hundreds of feet, wide enough at the top for a dozen horses to ride abreast, extending across mountains and valleys for leagues. They dwarf the wall in Westeros, making that already impressive structure seem small by comparison. The 5 forts were built, according to the Yitai legends, to hold back the demons of the Lion of Night, creatures of darkness that threatened to overwhelm the world during the long night that affected not just Westeros, but all lands. The stones from which the forts are constructed resist all weathering, showing no sign of age despite being thousands of years old. Gates pierce each fort, sealed with bronze doors covered in symbols that might be writing or might be wards, protections against whatever once threatened to break through. The lands beyond the 5 forts are largely unknown. Some say they are wasteland, others claim empires exist there that rival anything to the south. All agree that few who venture past the forts return to speak of what they found. The forts stand as testament to fear made manifest, the kind of defenses you build when facing extinction. The ruins of Yin lie in the dim sea's waters, drowned cities from when the Grey Waste was fertile land. According to legends from the Golden Empire of Yitai, Yin once ruled vast territories before something, climate change, invasion, the gods' displeasure, caused its collapse. The waters of the dim sea are shallow in places, and when conditions are right, you can see buildings beneath the surface, roads leading from nowhere to nothing, the shadows of glory lost. The Yi-Tish avoid the dim sea, considering it cursed, a place where the ghosts of the past punish those who disturb them. Fishermen report strange catches from these waters, statues that depict beings no one recognizes, coins minted with symbols from languages now dead, pottery that shows scenes of life before the drowning. The sea got its name from its peculiar quality of light. Even under a clear sky, the waters look gray and dim, as if the sun shines less brightly there, as if the drowned cities pull light down into their depths. On nights when the moon is dark, locals claim to hear singing rising from beneath the waves, choruses in no living language, voices of those who died when the waters rose and their world ended in slow consumption by the sea. Stygai exists at the furthest edge of legend and map, somewhere beyond Ashai, somewhere in the Shadowlands, a city that even Shadowbinders will not approach. Stygai is called the Corpse City, though who named it thus and why remains unclear. No traveler's tale describes its streets in detail. No Meister's text includes reliable information about its layout or architecture. It exists as a name, a destination on no journey, a place whose reputation serves as warning. The little information that does circulate suggests black stone construction like Ashai and Yin, massive blocks fitted together impossibly, a city that predates human civilization. Some claim Stygai was never inhabited in any normal sense, that it served another purpose: temple, observatory, prison, gateway, before being abandoned to whatever now dwells there. Others say it is inhabited, but by things that cannot be called alive in any meaningful way, entities that maintain the city for reasons incomprehensible to human minds. The fact that shadowbinders, who deal in dangerous magic as common trade, refuse to venture to Stygai speaks volumes. In a world where people will dare almost anything for power or wealth, Stygai remains off limits, a boundary even the desperate will not cross. Kadath lies somewhere in the Great Sand Sea, or perhaps it does not, for its location seems to change depending on who tells the story. This is a city that appears and disappears according to its own logic, rising from the sands during certain alignments of stars or phases of the moon, only to vanish again when conditions shift. Traders from distant Yitai speak of Kadath as a place where wonders can be purchased, items of power, information from seers who see across time, artifacts from civilizations that fell before history began keeping records. The difficulty lies in finding it, and in leaving once you do. Some claim Kadath exists in multiple places simultaneously, that it is not truly a physical city but something else, a concept given temporary form, a dream that becomes briefly real. Others suggest it is cursed, cast into temporal exile, condemned to drift through time and space without anchor. The few items said to originate from Kadath appear in markets occasionally, always sold by merchants who cannot quite explain how they acquired them, always carrying a certain quality, too perfect, too strange, too precisely what someone might wish for if wishes were dangerous things. Kadath represents the ultimate mystery, a place that may or may not exist, that can be found but not reliably, that offers everything but demands prices no one expects to pay. The Isle of Toads sits in the Basilisk Isles, avoided by pirates who will risk almost anything else. The island earned its name from the massive toads that cover its shores and jungles, creatures as large as dogs with skin that secretes toxins potent enough to kill a man who touches them without protection. But the toads are not the island's only danger or its primary mystery. The interior holds ruins that predate the Giscari Empire, stone platforms and altars arranged in patterns that suggest astronomical purpose. The toad worshippers who once lived here, for ruins suggest temples dedicated to the enormous amphibians, left behind carvings that show humans and toads interacting in ways that suggest the toads were not mere animals, but objects of veneration or fear. The jungle canopy grows so thick that the interior exists in perpetual gloom, punctuated by the croaking of countless toads, a sound that echoes and overlaps until it becomes maddening. The few expeditions that have explored the island's center report finding pools of water that remain perfectly still regardless of wind, mirrors that show reflections not quite matching reality. Something about the Isle of Toads feels fundamentally wrong, as if the boundary between natural and unnatural has eroded here, leaving a place where both exist in uncomfortable proximity, where the toads might be exactly what they appear, or something much stranger using toad form as disguise or prison. The ruins of Geese sit in the shadow of what that civilization once was, crumbled monuments to an empire that rivaled Valyria before the dragons came. The old empire of Geese fell 5,000 years ago, burned and broken by dragonfire, its people scattered or enslaved, its cities reduced to foundations and fragments. The pyramids that once dominated Geass's skyline are tumbled blocks now, toppled by time and deliberately destroyed by conquerors who wanted no reminder of Gyaskari glory to inspire rebellion. The bricks from which they built, famous for their durability, lie scattered across a landscape turned to desolation. The climate changed after Gys fell. Once fertile lands became arid, as if the earth itself mourned the empire's passing. Grass struggles to grow in the dusty soil, and the wind carries the scent of salt and ash. Slavers' Bay cities, Astapor, Yunkai, Meereen, consider themselves heirs to Gys's legacy, reviving customs and language, training unsullied in imitation of the legendary lockstep legions. But these are echoes, pale shadows of what was. The true Gys lies in ruins, its great works demolished, its power broken, serving as lesson about the impermanence of dominion. Standing among those toppled stones, you can feel the weight of lost centuries, the silence of a people whose very language would have died if not carefully preserved by those who followed. Carcosa lies by the hidden sea, far to the east beyond Yiti, beyond the mountains of the Morn, in lands so remote that they barely appear on any map drawn west of the Bone Mountains. The city features in stories told by sailors who claim to have heard them from traders who swear they met men from there once. Carcosa is described as a place of yellow towers and impossible architecture, a city whose layout makes no sense to human eyes, whose streets form patterns that hurt to contemplate. Some tales claim Carcosa is not a city for the living at all, but a place where the dead walk, carrying on their affairs in mockery of life. Others say it sits at a juncture between worlds, a point where our reality touches something else, and its strange geometry reflects this liminality. The Yellow Emperor is said to rule Carcosa, a figure who appears in legends from multiple cultures, always associated with forbidden knowledge and questionable wisdom. Whether Carcosa truly exists or is purely mythical remains unknown. No one from Westeros has visited it and returned with proof. It exists in that space reserved for places beyond verification, cities that are more idea than location, destinations that appear on maps drawn by those who value wonder over accuracy. The very name Carcosa carries weight, sounds like something from a dream half-remembered, resonates with strangeness that suggests it might be real after all. Vaes Dothrak spreads across the Dothraki Sea, a city unique in all the world, for it is forbidden to draw weapons or spill blood within its boundaries. This is the only permanent settlement of the Horse Lords, the place where they gather for great ceremonies, where the Dosh Khaleen, widows of dead Khals, dwell and speak a prophecy. The city has no walls, needs none, for attacking it would unite every Khalsar in vengeance. Instead of streets, it has broad, dusty paths between monuments taken as plunder from every civilization the Dothraki have conquered. Statues from Sarnor stand beside temple facades from Qarth, bronze gates from Qohor, next to carved pillars from cities whose names are forgotten. This collection of theft creates a museum of stolen glory, each piece representing some army's defeat, some people's loss. The winding market in Vaes Dothrak sees trade from across the known world, goods from Yitai, slaves from Slavers' Bay, wine from the free cities, information from everywhere. The grass around Vaes Dothrak grows tall and gray-green, and according to prophecy, when the stallion that mounts the world is born, this ghost grass will cover the entire earth. The Dosh Khaleen's predictions carry weight among the Dothraki, for these women speak with the authority of their dead husbands and the wisdom of those who have seen every glory and loss the Horse Lords know. Dragonstone sits in Blackwater Bay, a fortress carved from volcanic rock by Valyrian hands long before the Doom. The entire castle is shaped like dragons. Dragon towers, dragon gates, dragon gargoyles that line every wall and perch on every surface. The stone is black and shiny, volcanic glass mixed with regular rock, and the craftsmanship shows Valyrian mastery at its height. Every detail was carved by artisans who worked with magic as well as tools, creating effects impossible to reproduce now. The dragons seem alive in certain lights, their eyes following movement, their jaws appearing to shift, their forms twisting at the edge of vision. The castle sits atop a volcanic island, and beneath it, caves and passages extend deep into the earth, winding through stones still warm from the magma below. These Dragonmont tunnels once served as hatcheries and lairs for dragons, and their walls show scoring from claws and heat blackening from breath. The throne room is dominated by a massive table carved with the map of Westeros, each feature rendered in perfect detail. Rivers flowing with blue stones, forests marked with green, mountains rising in miniature. Aegon the Conqueror planned his conquest from this table, and the weight of that history presses down on everyone who enters the room. A reminder that the Age of Dragons, while past, left permanent marks on the world that feel as fresh as yesterday's wounds. The black cells beneath the Red Keep in King's Landing represent the ultimate imprisonment. Total darkness, total isolation, total despair. These cells lie deep in the rock on which the castle was built, cut into stone during the keep's construction, designed as places where prisoners could be disappeared without execution, left to waste away in conditions that erase humanity piece by piece. No light reaches the black cells except what guards bring with them, and that rarely. Prisoners placed there lose track of time quickly. No day or night, no regular meals to mark hours, no sounds except their own breathing and heartbeat. The darkness is absolute, the kind that makes you forget what light looks like, that causes hallucinations and breaks minds efficiently. The cells are small, barely large enough to lie down, carved from solid rock, featureless except for walls and floor, and the single door that seals from outside. Men have died in the black cells, forgotten by those who imprisoned them. Their bodies only discovered when the smell grew strong enough to seep up levels. Others have gone mad and remained alive years, gibbering in darkness, no longer remembering their names or crimes, reduced to creatures of shadow that fear light more than death. The black cells serve as punishment beyond death, for death offers release while the cells offer only existence stripped of meaning, time without end in dark without variation. The weirwood grove in the cave of the three-eyed crow lies far beyond the wall, in the haunted forest's deepest reaches. This is not merely a grove, but a vast network of roots that extend through the earth like veins through flesh, connecting trees across impossible distances. The cave entrance is guarded by the children of the forest, those who remain of that ancient race. Small figures with large eyes and skin like bark. They led Bran Stark through passages that twisted and descended, through chambers where elk bones served as pillars, deeper and deeper into the earth until reaching the chamber where the last green seer sits. The three-eyed crow, Brynden Rivers, once Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, once Hand of the King, has become part of the weirwood itself, his body growing into the roots, white tendrils spreading through his flesh, his single eye still seeing though his body has become more tree than man. From this cave, through the weirwood network, he can see across vast distances and back, through time, watching through every heart tree's carved eyes, witnessing events as they unfold across the world. The cave is cold, lit by bioluminescent fungi, silent except for the drip of water and whisper of roots growing. Time moves strangely there, and the children seem neither young nor old, but simply present, as if they exist outside normal aging. This cave represents the last stronghold of magic openly practiced, the final refuge of the children, and a reminder that before men ruled Westeros, others held dominion and left traces that endure still in darkness and root and stone. Qohor stands among the free cities, known for two things primarily: skilled smiths who can reforge Valyrian steel and worship of the Black Goat. The forges of Qohor produce some of the finest metalwork in the world, and they guard their secrets jealously, passing techniques from master to apprentice in chains of knowledge that stretch back centuries. The Black Goat's worship is darker, bloodier, practiced in groves outside the city walls where offerings are made to ensure the city's prosperity. The nature of these offerings is not discussed openly, but the rites occur regularly, conducted by priests whose masked faces and dark robes mark them as servants of the goat. 3,000 Unsullied once saved Qohor from a Dothraki Khalsar, standing against 25,000 horse lords in battle that lasted all day. The Dothraki broke themselves against the Unsullied's discipline, and by battle's end, 600 Unsullied remained standing, and the Khal was dead. Ever since, the Qohoric have honored the Unsullied, and the city's leaders present the Unsullied Guard with bronze stalks every year in commemoration. Qohor's black walls and dark reputation keep most travelers at arm's length, and the city prefers it that way, conducting its business and worship without the scrutiny that sunlight brings. The forest beyond the walls grows dense and dark, and locals speak of sounds in the night that might be animals, or might be celebrants of the Black Goat conducting rites away from disapproving eyes. The 14 Flames region of Valyria was the heart of the Freehold's power, an area of volcanic mountains where dragons were born and bred. Before the Doom, these mountains were carefully managed, their eruptions predicted and controlled through magic, their heat harnessed for industry and dragoncraft. The Valyrians built their civilization on volcanic foundations, literally and metaphorically, extracting incredible wealth from the mines and forging their legendary steel in fires hot enough to work magic into metal. When the Doom came, all 14 volcanoes erupted simultaneously, or perhaps the eruption caused the Doom, or the Doom triggered the eruption, for the sequence of events has never been clarified. What is certain is that a peninsula was destroyed, hundreds of thousands died, and the very landscape was reshaped by forces that tore the earth open. The 14 Flames now are gaps in the world, calderas and craters where mountains once stood, vents that still exhale poison and heat centuries after the catastrophe. Ships that approach the region report seeing glows at night, fires burning without fuel, and in the morning, new islands of pumice floating where nothing existed before. The flames have become synonymous with destruction, a reminder that playing with powers fundamental to the world's structure invites consequences no amount of magic can prevent or control. Mantares sits near the ruins of Valyria, built by survivors who tried to maintain some fragment of their lost civilization. The city has earned dark reputation over the centuries, for something is wrong with Mantares. Its people are twisted, showing mutations and deformities far more common than natural occurrence explains. Some are born with extra limbs or missing features. Others develop scales or grow to unusual sizes. Many show signs of madness in their eyes and behavior. The nobles of Mantares maintain power through blood magic and sorcery, using techniques that other free cities have abandoned as too dangerous. The city's architecture shows Valyrian influence but corrupted, as if the builders remembered glory but could only produce parody. Gargoyles leer from buildings, but these are not decorative. Some move, some speak, some watch with intelligence that suggests they were once human. The streets of Mantares carry an atmosphere of wrongness that visitors feel immediately, a sense that natural laws bend here, that reality itself has become sick. Trade with Mantares happens because the city produces unique goods, alchemical substances, trained creatures, items of power. But merchants conduct their business quickly and depart with relief. The city serves as warning about trying to preserve what should have ended, about clinging to past glory until it rots into horror. The ghost grass grows around Valles Dothrak, and in patches scattered across the Dothraki Sea, pale and luminous even in full sun. This grass is taller than the normal grass of the plains, reaching waist height or higher, and it grows in isolated clumps that spread slowly but inexorably. According to Dothraki prophecy, when the stallion who mounts the world is born, the ghost grass will cover the entire earth, smothering all other vegetation, transforming the world into an endless sea of pale blades swaying in perpetual wind. The grass has an eerie quality at night, seeming to glow with captured moonlight, creating fields of pale illumination that make navigation disorienting. Horses grow nervous around ghost grass, and wise travelers avoid camping near it, though no one can articulate exactly why. The grass makes sounds as wind passes through it, whispers and susurrations that sound almost like voices, like words in languages almost but not quite comprehensible. Some Dothraki consider the ghost grass sacred. Others view it with superstitious dread. All agree it represents something significant about their future and the world's fate. Scientists in the Citadel have examined samples and found nothing unusual about the grass's physical properties. Yet, it continues to spread, continues to glow, continues to whisper secrets to those patient enough to listen. The ruins of Gogossos lie on a large island in the Basilisk Isles, remnants of a city that once thrived on slavery and dark practices before plague destroyed it. Gogossos was notorious even when it stood, a place where the worst impulses of humanity were indulged without restraint, where blood magic and forbidden experiments were conducted openly, where life was cheaper than anywhere else in the known world. The city grew wealthy, facilitating things other places forbade, attracting those whose desires exceeded their morality. Then the plague came, appearing suddenly and spreading with supernatural speed. Within weeks, nearly everyone in Gogossos was dead, and the survivors fled, spreading the disease to other ports before dying themselves. The city was abandoned completely, left to the jungle and the creatures that moved in once humans departed. Now the ruins are overgrown, stone buildings consumed by vines and roots, walls collapsing slowly under vegetation's patient assault. Explorers occasionally venture to Gogossos seeking treasures left behind, but most do not return, and those who do bring back items of questionable value and certain taint. The island itself feels wrong in ways hard to articulate. The air tastes bad, sounds are muffled oddly, shadows fall at incorrect angles. Something lingers in Gogossos. Whether memory of its wickedness or actual presence cannot be determined, but the ruins represent a place where humanity's worst impulses were concentrated and then deservedly destroyed. The ruins along the Rhoyne extend for leagues. Nigh Sar, Arnoy, the festival city of Croyane, and others, testaments to the civilization that flourished here before the Valyrian freehold brought dragons against them. The Rhoynar were water mages, able to command the river with their power, summoning floods and currents to defend their lands. Against terrestrial opponents, this made them nearly invincible. Against dragons, it proved insufficient. Valyrian fire boiled the Rhoyne itself, turned water to steam, killed fish and waterfowl by the millions. The Rhoynar fought desperately, calling up floods that drowned dragons and riders both, but ultimately numbers and fire prevailed. Nymeria led 10,000 ships of survivors to Dorne, but most of the Rhoynar stayed and died, or lived to see their civilization crumble. Now their cities stand empty, half submerged, home to nothing but stone men and regret. The ruins show what they once were. Graceful architecture adapted to river life, buildings with water channels running through them, docks and harbors for the boats that carried commerce up and down the Rhoyne. The river still flows, indifferent to loss, carrying sediment and grayscale in equal measure, bearing witness to glory that dissolved like salt in its ancient waters. The ruins of Sarnor stretch across the grasslands north of Slaver's Bay, remnants of the kingdom of the Sarnori that once commanded vast territories and powerful armies. The Sarnori cities had names that rang with pride: Sarnath, Mardosh, Gornath, each competing with the others for dominance while presenting unified front against outside threats. Then the Dothraki came, wave after wave of horse lords pouring from the east, and the Sarnori kingdom shattered before them like stone beneath hooves. The cities fell one by one, their populations enslaved or killed, their buildings burned, their treasures carried off as plunder to Vaes Dothrek. Now the ruins stand empty, windows like eye sockets in skull faces, walls crumbling to reveal interiors open to sky. The grasslands have reclaimed much of what was built, covering foundations with earth and vegetation, toppling walls that resist erosion. Travelers across the plains sometimes shelter in Sarnori ruins overnight, but they report unease, a sense of being watched, of hearing sounds that have no source, of shadows moving when nothing casts them. The ruins serve as reminder that city's permanence is illusion, that given enough time and pressure, anything can be ground to dust and scattered by wind across grass that remembers nothing. The Whispers sit on the western coast of the Stormlands, a cluster of sea stacks rising from violent waters like broken teeth. These limestone towers were once connected to the mainland, part of a castle or fortress, but erosion has isolated them, leaving only foundations on separate pillars of stone. The wind howls through the gaps between the stacks, creating sounds that locals swear are voices, whispers, warnings, conversations in languages long dead. The castle that once stood here belonged to House Went originally, or perhaps older families whose names vanished with their halls into the sea. Now seabirds nest in the crevices, their cries mixing with the wind voice, creating a chorus that sounds almost human at dusk. The waters around the Whispers are treacherous, full of submerged rocks and unpredictable currents that have claimed countless ships. Fishermen avoid the area, not merely for the physical dangers, but for the sensation that something watches from those hollow towers, that the voices in the wind carry meaning just beyond comprehension. On foggy mornings, the Whispers appear and disappear in the mist, seeming to float between sea and sky, disconnected from the mortal world, remnants of something that refused to be entirely forgotten by time and tide. Pike, the seat of House Greyjoy, clings to several rock stacks connected by swaying rope bridges that make every crossing an act of faith or desperation. The castle was built across multiple sea stacks deliberately, the Ironborn choosing to make their stronghold as inhospitable as possible, a fortress that reflects their harsh philosophy and maritime dominance. The bridges twist in the wind, fraying over time, needing constant replacement, and more than one person has fallen into the churning waters below when rope gave way or foot slipped. The towers of Pike lean at angles, battered by centuries of storms, their stones stained with salt and time. The Greyjoy's throne sits in the Great Hall, the sea-stone chair, carved from an oily black stone in a single piece, its origins unknown, predating the Ironborn themselves. Some claim it came from the bottom of the sea, others that it fell from the sky. All agree it has been there longer than any Iron Islander can remember. The sound of the sea surrounds Pike constantly, waves crashing against rocks, wind howling through empty rooms, the groan of rope bridges stretched taut. Living in Pike means accepting that the sea could claim you at any moment, that the very foundations are temporary, that the drowned god's halls wait below for all who serve him. The drowned god's halls lie beneath the waves, according to Ironborn belief, a paradise where those who die at sea feast eternally, drinking and fighting and celebrating in perpetuity. The drowned men, priests of the drowned god, perform baptisms that deliberately drown the faithful, holding them under seawater until they stop breathing, then reviving them through rough ministrations. Those who survive this ordeal are considered blessed, having glimpsed the watery halls and returned to speak of them. The descriptions vary. Some see great feasting halls constructed of coral and pearl. Others describe caverns where drowned warriors wait for Ragnarok-like final battle. Still others report simply peace, an end to struggle, acceptance in cold, dark water. The storm god is the enemy in this theology, dwelling in the sky, striking at ships with wind and lightning, trying to prevent the faithful from reaching their underwater paradise. This belief shapes Ironborn culture completely. They do not fear drowning, instead embracing it as gateway to eternal reward. The sea is both destroyer and salvation, and every wave that takes an Ironborn life is seen as the drowned god calling his children home. Standing on the shores of the Iron Islands, watching storms roll in across gray waters, you can almost believe there is something down there, something waiting patiently for all who live by the sea to eventually return to it. The House of Black and White in Braavos serves the many-faced god, offering the gift of death to those who seek it earnestly. This temple sits on an island in Braavos' lagoon, a building divided down the middle, one half black stone, one half white, representing the duality the faceless men embrace. Inside, a hall contains alcoves for various gods, each death deity from different cultures given space and respect, for the many-faced god has many faces, and all led to the same darkness. The faceless men are assassins of the highest caliber, able to change their faces literally through magic they guard zealously, becoming anyone, infiltrating anywhere, delivering death with precision and inevitability. The price for their services is deliberately high, not mere gold, but something the person values fundamentally, something that costs them deeply. They do not kill for money alone, but for philosophical reasons, serving death itself rather than any client. The temple's lower levels contain pools where corpses are processed, faces removed and preserved, identities stored like masks in a vast collection. Supplicants come to the house of black and white seeking death, for themselves or others, and the priests listen, weighing each request, accepting some and refusing others according to logic outsiders cannot decipher. Arya Stark trained here, learning to become no one, to suppress her identity in service of death's inevitability. The house stands as a reminder that death comes for everyone, that it can be called or delayed but never defeated, and that some serve it willingly, seeing in darkness a truth brighter than any light. The Titan of Braavos stands at the entrance to the lagoon, a massive statue through whose legs all ships must pass to enter the city. This colossus is armored and armed, standing hundreds of feet tall, built by the freed slaves who founded Braavos as symbol of their liberation and protection. The Titan is not merely decorative, it serves as lighthouse, fortress, and warning all at once. Fires burn in its eyes, visible for leagues across the sea, guiding ships safely to harbor. Its head contains chambers where guards can station, watching for hostile fleets. At certain times, the Titan roars, a sound created by wind passing through channels built into its structure, a bellow that echoes across the lagoon and announces important ships' arrivals. The bronze priests maintain the Titan, conducting rituals that blend religion and engineering, ensuring the structure remains sound and the mechanisms continue functioning. Passing beneath the Titan for the first time inspires awe and intimidation equally. The sheer scale of it, the sense that it could step down from its pedestal and crush your ship with one enormous foot. The reminder that Braavos was built by those who refused to bow ever again. The Titan represents freedom earned through struggle, power maintained through vigilance, and the determination of those who escaped slavery to ensure they would never be conquered. It stands as Braavos' face to the world, proud, defiant, eternal. The Eyrie sits atop the giant's lance in the Vale, accessible only by a treacherous path that climbs the mountain through multiple way castles. The final approach involves being winched up the mountain in a basket, swaying in the wind, hundreds of feet of empty air below. The castle itself is small compared to other great houses' seats, its size limited by the mountain peak it occupies. The Eyrie's throne room features the moon door, a floor hatch that opens directly onto open air, a long drop to the valley floor where ravens circle and eagles nest. This door serves as execution method for those convicted of crimes. They are pushed through, falling to certain death, their bodies rarely recovered from the rocks below. Sky cells line one side of the Eyrie, prison chambers open to the elements, their outer walls removed entirely so prisoners stare into the void. These cells slope outward slightly, meaning sleeping prisoners risk rolling out into the abyss, forcing them to remain constantly alert. The cold at that altitude is severe, and exposure kills as surely as falling. The Eyrie is abandoned each winter when snow makes the mountain impassable, the Arryns moving to the gates of the moon below, leaving their greatest castle empty and frozen for months. Standing at the Eyrie feels like existing between earth and sky, neither fully part of the world below, nor entirely separate from it, suspended in space with only stone and will preventing a plunge into clouds that hide the ground far below. Greywater Watch is the seat of House Reed, and its precise location is unknown to outsiders because the castle moves. Built on a crannog, a floating island in the swamps of the Neck, Greywater Watch drifts through the bogs, never remaining in one place long enough to be mapped. The crannogmen who serve house reed know how to find it, following markers invisible to foreign eyes, navigating channels that shift with the seasons. The castle itself is built of wood and wattle, constructed lightly enough to float, furnished with necessities but not luxuries. Living at Greywater Watch means accepting impermanence. Your home today is leagues from where it was yesterday, the view from your window constantly changing, the channels around you opening and closing as tides and rains alter the next landscape. This mobility makes Greywater Watch effectively unassailable. Armies cannot lay siege to what they cannot find, and even if they found it one day, it would be gone the next. The reeds serve as scouts and spies for the Starks, moving through the neck with ease, appearing and vanishing like ghosts. Their loyalty is absolute, their knowledge of the swamps unmatched. Greywater Watch represents an entirely different philosophy of power. Not domination through massive walls and armies, but survival through adaptation, through becoming part of the landscape rather than trying to dominate it, through being water rather than stone. The fist of the first men rises above the haunted forest like a natural fortress, a circular hill with a crown of rocks that formed defensive ring millennia ago. The first men built here, creating a ring fort whose purpose has been lost to time. Perhaps it was military, perhaps ceremonial, perhaps both. The Night's Watch uses the fist as camping ground during rangings, the high ground offering views of surrounding forest and defensibility against wildling attacks. The stones show marks from ancient builders, worked into position with tools and effort, placed to create walls that have outlasted the people who placed them. Rangers report strange sensations at the fist, a heaviness in the air, sounds that carry oddly, the feeling of being observed by unseen watchers. The ancient first men might have fought the others here during the long night, might have made desperate stands against forces that pushed south from the lands of always winter. If so, the fist saw battles whose scale dwarfed anything recorded in later histories, conflicts between living and dead that determined humanity's survival. Now it stands mostly abandoned, visited occasionally by black-cloaked rangers who camp in the shelter of those ancient stones, wrap their cloaks against northern wind, and wonder what their distant predecessors saw from this same vantage point when the world was younger and winter came with blue eyes and cold hands. The Last Hearth is the northernmost major castle in Westeros, seat of House Umber, standing as final point of civilization before the Gift and the Wall. Living at the Last Hearth means existing on the boundary, looking north toward lands where law and safety cease, where wilderness begins in earnest. The Umbers are famously large and fierce, their men standing taller and broader than most Southerners, bred by harsh climate and constant danger. The castle earned its name because travelers heading north would find this their last chance for warm fire and shelter before entering the Gift's abandoned lands. The hearths at Last Hearth burn constantly, kept alight through summer and winter both, beacons of warmth against the cold that presses down from beyond the wall. The Umbers have fought wildlings for generations, defended their lands against raiders who slip past the wall, and served the Starks with loyalty absolute. Their words are simple and true. First in battle, reflecting their position as the Starks' vanguard against northern threats. Standing at the Last Hearth and looking north, you see forests stretching to the horizon, lands that grow progressively emptier and colder. Reminders that civilization is an island in a sea of wilderness, that the light and warmth humans create are temporary shelters against darkness and cold that existed before them and will remain after. The citadel in Old Town is the Meister's fortress and library, a complex of buildings containing the known world's greatest collection of written knowledge. The Archmeisters who run the citadel maintain the order, determining which men may forge chains and serve as Meisters, guarding traditions that predate the Targaryen conquest. But the citadel contains sections few Meisters ever access. Restricted archives where books deemed too dangerous for general reading are kept locked away. These forbidden texts include treatises on magic, accounts of the others, prophecies whose accuracy frightened those who recorded them, historical documents that contradict accepted truth, research into subjects the faith of the Seven considers heretical. The Archmeisters control access tightly, believing some knowledge causes more harm than good, that certain truths are better forgotten than remembered. The restricted archives lie in the deepest vaults, their shelves holding scrolls from Valyria, books from Ashai, fragments salvaged from Sarnor's ruins, confessions from blood mages before their executions. Mice and silverfish share these spaces with wisdom no one consults, and the air smells of old paper and older secrets. Some Meisters doubt magic entirely, dismissing tales of dragons and others as superstition despite evidence. Others know better, having read the restricted texts, having learned that the world contains more than rational minds want to accept. The citadel stands as monument to knowledge, but also to the selective preservation of it, to the conscious choice of what to remember and what to suppress. The Red Waste stretches east of Qarth, a desert so hostile that even the Dothraki avoid it, a place where water is memory and the sun is enemy. Daenerys Targaryen led her Khalasar through the Red Waste after Drogo died, a desperate march that killed many and nearly ended her story before it truly began. The sand is red, giving the waste its name, and the heat is murderous. Temperatures that make metal too hot to touch, that bake exposed skin, that kill through dehydration and exposure. Nomads occasionally cross the waste's edges, but none live there permanently because nothing grows, no water flows, no shade offers relief. Ancient ruins dot the waste, buildings half buried in drifting sand, their purpose forgotten, their builders vanished. Some of these ruins contain wells, precious sources of water that determine whether a crossing is possible or suicidal. The Red Waste may have been different once. Some Meisters theorize it was fertile before climate change or magical catastrophe transformed it. But now it serves as barrier between Slaver's Bay and Qarth, a moat of heat and death that protects the latter from land invasion. Crossing it means accepting loss, knowing some of your party will not reach the other side, that the desert demands payment in lives for passage. The waste cares nothing for rank or ambition. It kills impartially, covering the dead with sand that erases all trace within days. The Lonely Light is the westernmost of the Iron Islands, so far from the main archipelago that only the most dedicated Ironborn bother with it. The island earned its name honestly. It sits alone in the Sunset Sea, days of sailing from the nearest land, its single beacon the only light visible in leagues of dark water. The far winds hold the Lonely Light, and isolation has made them strange even by Ironborn standards. They claim to be able to speak with seals and walruses, to skin change into sea creatures, to swim in the ocean for hours without tiring. Whether these claims are true, exaggeration, or madness bred by isolation, none can say with certainty. The island itself is barren. rocky soil that barely supports grass, no trees, constant wind that never stops. The sea around the Lonely Light is rich with fish and seals, making survival possible but not comfortable. Legends claim that if you sail far enough west from the Lonely Light, you will find lands unknown to maps, perhaps even crossing the Sunset Sea entirely to reach the eastern shores of Essos from the opposite direction. But no one who has sailed that far west has returned to confirm or deny, and the Lonely Light remains the edge of the known world, a final point of reference before the ocean extends without interruption into mystery. The 14 fires that once powered Valyria's glory now vent poison and memory in equal measure. When the Doom shattered the Valyrian Peninsula, it did more than destroy cities and kill people. It broke something fundamental in the Earth's structure. The fires that the Valyrians had controlled and harnessed turned against them, becoming mouths of hell that consumed everything within reach. Now, centuries later, the fires still burn in some places, volcanic vents that open without warning, releasing gases that kill anyone who breathes them. The ground around the old 14 fires is unstable, prone to tremors and sudden collapses, making travel through the region treacherous. Explorers who venture there seeking Valyrian treasures, steel, artifacts, knowledge, face not only environmental hazards but stranger dangers. The ruins hold things that survived the Doom, creatures twisted by the cataclysm, shadows that move with purpose, voices that call from empty buildings. Some claim the fires themselves are alive now, conscious in some terrible way, aware of those who approach and actively hostile to their presence. Whether this is true or merely the paranoia of frightened men cannot be determined. What is certain is that the 14 Fires region remains deadly, that the Doom's effects continue echoing through time, and that the wounds opened in the earth that day have not healed and may never heal. The barrow fields near Barrowton stretch across the landscape like ancient graves marking the earth, which is precisely what they are. These burial mounds were raised by the first men thousands of years ago, each containing the remains of kings, heroes, or warriors deemed worthy of such monuments. The barrows vary in size. Some are small hillocks barely distinguishable from natural terrain. Others rise as tall as keeps, their earthen sides steep and covered in grass that grows thicker there than anywhere else, nourished by what lies beneath. The Dustins rule from Barrowton, their castle built among these ancient graves, and locals treat the barrows with superstitious respect. They say the dead sleep beneath those mounds, that disturbing them invites curses, that lights sometimes flicker atop the largest barrows on moonless nights. Some barrows have been opened over the centuries, by treasure hunters, by scholars, by fools, and those who enter describe passages leading down into darkness. Stone chambers where corpses sit on thrones with bronze swords across their laps. Burial goods that turn to dust when exposed to air. The Barrowlands carry a weight, an atmosphere of age and endings, reminders that the first men ruled these lands long before Andals came, that their dead outnumber the living many times over, that beneath the grass and soil lies layer upon layer of forgotten history. Crackclaw Point juts into the narrow sea from the Crownlands, a peninsula of rocky soil and stubborn people who claim descent from the first men and maintain independence from the lords who theoretically rule them. The point earned its name from its jagged coastline, inlets, and rocks that tear ships apart, making approach from the sea treacherous. The small folk of Crackclaw Point are clannish, loyal to their own above any distant lord, and they maintain traditions that have faded elsewhere. Worship of the old gods despite proximity to King's Landing, adherence to guest right with near religious fervor, belief in curses and blessings that Meisters dismiss as superstition. The peninsula's interior is rough terrain, hills and forests where settlements sit scattered, connected by paths rather than proper roads. Ancient ruins dot the landscape, broken towers from unknown builders, standing stones arranged in circles, carved rocks bearing symbols in no current language. The Crack-Claw lords are petty nobility at best, holding small castles and commanding limited armies, but they maintain fierce pride in their heritage. During wars, Crack-Claw Point often chooses its own side, or refuses to fight entirely, infuriating those who claim sovereignty over it. The point exists in a strange space, technically part of the Crown Lands, functionally independent, stubbornly itself despite centuries of pressure to conform to larger kingdoms' demands. The three sisters, Sweet Sister, Long Sister, and Little Sister, sit in the bight north of the Vale, islands with reputation for piracy, smuggling, and independence that rivals even Crack-Claw Point's stubborn isolation. The Sistermen, as they call themselves, have their own culture distinct from the Vale mainlanders, speaking a dialect that outsiders find nearly incomprehensible, practicing customs that seem strange to those from the south. The islands are rocky and windswept, their harbors natural fortresses that shelter ships from storms, while also hiding them from authorities who might question their cargoes. The sisters have been conquered multiple times, by the Vale, by the North, by various kings. But each time they return to their old ways once the conquerors lose interest or capability to maintain control. Sister men were pirates for generations, preying on ships passing through the bight, and many still engage in smuggling, transporting goods that avoid official tariffs and inspections. The island's economy depends on the sea entirely: fishing, trading, and less legal maritime activities. The Vale Lords view the sisters with frustration and resignation, aware that fully controlling the islands would require constant military presence they cannot sustain. The three sisters remain what they have always been, neither fully independent nor truly conquered, existing in perpetual liminal state between lawlessness and civilization. Bear Island sits off the western coast of the north, cold and forested, home to House Mormont and the bears that give it its name. The island is harsh even by northern standards. Ironwood forests grow thick across its interior. The soil is rocky and grudging. The weather alternates between cold rain and colder snow. Bears roam the island in numbers that make travel dangerous. Massive creatures that can kill a man with single strike. Apex predators that fear nothing smaller than themselves. The Mormonts who rule here are famously fierce, their women trained in combat alongside men, their reputation for toughness exceeding even other northern houses. Mage Mormont led warriors in Robert's Rebellion, and her daughters, Daisy, Alisane, Lyra, Jarell, and Lyanna, all learned to fight, continuing traditions that elsewhere faded when the first men gave way to Andals. The island's isolation breeds self-sufficiency. Mormonts cannot rely on aid from the mainland when storms make crossing impossible for weeks at a time. They hunt, fish, log the forests, and maintain their castle with minimal trade or outside support. Standing on Bear Island's shore, looking across the Bay of Ice toward the frozen shore beyond, you feel the weight of the North's vastness. The sense that civilization is a narrow strip along the coasts and rivers, while the wild interior remains unconquered, waiting patiently for humanity's momentary presence to pass. The Neck is more than just swamp. It is a maze of channels, bogs, islands, and quicksand that makes passage between north and south a nightmare for any army. The terrain shifts with seasons and tides. Paths that existed yesterday are underwater today. Solid ground becomes sucking mud without warning. Channels that allowed boat passage become too shallow or too choked with vegetation. The Crannoc men who live in the Neck know its secrets, can navigate its dangers, and use this knowledge to make invasion of the North nearly impossible. During Robert's Rebellion, a southern army attempting to march north would have faced death in the Neck's embrace. Men drowning in bogs, horses trapped in quicksand, supplies rotting in the constant damp, disease spreading through camps with nowhere dry to recover. The Neck has protected the North for millennia, a natural moat more effective than any wall of stone. Lizard lions lurk in the waters, massive reptilian predators that can pull a man from a boat or take a swimming horse. Snakes hang from trees, their bites delivering venom that kills quickly. Insects swarm in clouds that make breathing difficult. The Crannoc men thrive in this environment through adaptation. They build floating villages, hunt with nets and spears, move through channels in small boats that draw minimal water. To outsiders, the Neck is hell. To its inhabitants, it is home and fortress combined. A place where they can live free from lords who would otherwise rule them, protected by terrain that serves them faithfully. The Rainwood covers much of the southern stormlands, a massive forest of ancient trees where rainfall is nearly constant, and the canopy grows so thick that the forest floor exists in perpetual twilight. This is old-growth forest, trees that have stood for centuries, their trunks wider than a man's arm span, their roots spreading across the ground like veins beneath skin. The Rainwood earned its name from the weather that dominates there. Rain falls almost daily, sometimes as drizzle that continues for weeks, other times as torrential downpours that make the forest sound like the sea. The constant moisture supports incredible biodiversity. Moss covers every surface. Ferns grow in profusion. Mushrooms sprout from fallen logs, and the undergrowth is thick enough to make travel without paths nearly impossible. Small streams crisscross the forest, and in heavy rains they flood without warning, turning valleys into temporary lakes. The houses that hold lands in the Rainwood, the Dondarrions, Swans, and others, maintain their castles on high ground, knowing that low-lying areas become swamps whenever the rains intensify. The forest has a reputation for outlaws and bandits, men who hide in the trees and prey on travelers, disappearing into the green maze when pursued. The Rainwood feels alive in ways cultivated forests do not, ancient and patient, watching travelers pass through its shadows with attention that might be imagination or might be something more fundamental. Tarth rises from the sea off the Stormlands coast, a large island known as the Sapphire Isle for the brilliant blue waters that surround it. The island is mountainous and beautiful, its peaks catching dawn light before the mainland wakes, its valleys holding villages and farms that support the local population. House Tarth rules from Evenfall Hall, and their most famous daughter is Brienne, the warrior woman who defies every expectation of her gender and class. The island has its own legends. The Evan Star is the traditional title of Tarth's ruling lord, a name connected to ancient stories about stars and seas that predate written records. The waters around Tarth are indeed remarkable. shifting from deep blue to turquoise depending on depth and light, creating scenes of stunning beauty that make the island a destination for those who value such things. But beauty does not equal safety. Pirates from the Stepstones occasionally raid Tarth's coasts, and the island's relative isolation means it cannot call for help quickly when threatened. The mountains hold caves and hidden valleys, places where smugglers cache goods and outlaws establish camps. Standing on Tarth's peaks and looking across the narrow sea toward Essos, you can see ships passing in the distance, tiny vessels that emphasize the vastness of the waters and the isolation of those who make their homes on islands separated from the mainland by leagues of unpredictable ocean. The Thousand Islands scatter across the shivering sea north of Braavos, a chain of rocks and reefs that make navigation treacherous and provide bases for pirates, smugglers, and those who value isolation above comfort. Most of the islands are barely large enough to support structures, mere rocks that break the sea's surface, useful only as landmarks or temporary shelter. A few are larger, holding small settlements, fishing villages, or pirate strongholds depending on who currently controls them. The islands have no central authority. Each is independent, some allied with Braavos, others with Lorath, many answering to no one but their current inhabitants. The shivering sea earned its name from the cold that dominates even in summer, and winter makes the waters nearly impassable, ice forming between islands and creating temporary land bridges that vanish with spring thaw. The Thousand Islands have been used as prisons, exile destinations, and refugees by various powers over centuries. Men sent there often die from exposure, starvation, or violence from other exiles. Those who survive become hard in ways that soften men cannot comprehend, shaped by isolation and necessity into something between civilized and savage. The islands represent freedom at its most brutal. No laws but what force can enforce. No comfort but what can be wrested from stone and sea. No future but what determination can carve from hostile environment. The Shield Islands guard the mouth of the Mander, 4 islands: Grey Shield, Green Shield, Oaken Shield, and South Shield, that protect the Reach from ironborn raids coming from the Sunset Sea. The lords who hold these islands are sworn to the Tyrells, but function as the Reach's first line of defense against seaborne invasion. The islands are flat and fertile. Their fields are producing crops, and their waters yielding fish, making them valuable economically as well as strategically. But their position makes them targets. The Ironborn have raided the Shield Islands countless times over the centuries, sometimes holding them briefly before being driven off, always seeing them as prizes worth taking. The shields in the islands' names refer to their defensive purpose, standing between the Reach's heartland and the raiders who would burn and pillage it. The castles on the Shield Islands are built for defense, their walls thick and their harbors protected, ready to withstand siege from the sea. During peacetime, the islands prosper from trade, ships stopping to resupply on their way up the Mander or along the coast. During war, they become battlefields where lords fight desperately to hold ground they cannot afford to lose. The Shield Islands exist in constant awareness of their purpose. They are barriers, expendable if necessary, but crucial to the safety of the lands they protect. This knowledge shapes their inhabitants into people who understand sacrifice, who have seen their farms burned and rebuilt multiple times, who know that living on the edge means accepting that peace is temporary and danger is eternal. The Arbor sits off the southwestern coast of the Reach, a large island famous for producing the finest wines in Westeros. The climate there is perfect for grapes, warm with the right balance of sun and rain, soil composition that creates complex flavors. The red wines have ruled the arbor for thousands of years, cultivating vineyards that produce vintages sought from Dorne to the Wall. The island is beautiful, rolling hills covered in grapevines, villages that smell of wine and fermenting fruit, harbors full of merchant ships loading casks for export. But the arbor is also a naval power. House Redwine maintains the largest fleet in Westeros, ships that protect the Reach's coast and patrol the Sunset Sea, keeping pirates at bay and maintaining trade routes. The combination of wealth from wine and power from ships makes the arbor crucial to the Reach's dominance. The island's interior holds the estates of various red wine branches and allied houses, their villas surrounded by the vineyards that generate their wealth. Harvest season on the arbor is a time of celebration. Workers picking grapes from dawn until dusk, pressing beginning immediately, the air thick with the sweet smell of juice that will become wine. Standing in an arbor vineyard at sunset, surrounded by vines heavy with fruit, you can understand why some consider this the most pleasant place in Westeros, a land where nature provides bounty, where art and agriculture combine to produce beauty you can taste, where even the practical business of winemaking becomes something approaching magic in its transformation of simple grapes into liquid that kings prize and poets celebrate. The Stepstones form a chain of islands between Westeros and Essos, a bridge of land that almost connects the continents but leaves channels between large enough for ships. These islands are strategic prizes, controlling sea lanes through which immense trade passes, and they have been fought over for centuries. Pirates have held the Stepstones at various times, using them as bases to raid merchant vessels. Dorne has claimed them when strong enough. The free cities have taken them when opportunity arose. The Targaryens conquered them during the War for the Stepstones, but maintaining control proved more difficult than taking them initially. The islands are rocky and harsh, not particularly valuable themselves, but their position makes them crucial for anyone seeking to dominate the narrow sea. The Vatsy waters around the Stepstones are treacherous, reefs and rocks that tear hulls, currents that shift unpredictably, storms that rise without warning. The channels between islands are narrow enough that defending them is feasible with modest naval forces, making the Stepstones natural choke points. Bloodstone is the largest of the Stepstones, named for the red rock from which it is formed, and it has served as headquarters for various pirate kings who tried to build empires from these islands. They all failed eventually, crushed by coalitions of powers who could not allow pirates to strangle trade routes. The Stepstones remain contested ground, changing hands with regularity, coveted by many but held firmly by none. A reminder that strategic value does not guarantee control, and that some prizes are too expensive to keep even after winning them. The High Tower of Old Town is among the world's tallest structures, a massive tower that has stood for thousands of years. Its base constructed from the same fused black stone that appears in Ashai, Yin, and the base of the Five Forts. No one knows who built that black stone foundation or when. It predates the High Towers, predates the first men, perhaps, coming from some earlier civilization now forgotten. The current tower rises from this mysterious base, levels upon levels climbing toward the sky, its beacon visible for leagues across land and sea. The High Towers have ruled Old Town since before records began, maintaining their power through wealth and wisdom rather than military might, serving as the city's protectors and patrons. The tower contains chambers, halls, and treasures accumulated over millennia of rule. The beacon at its top burns constantly, fueled by methods the high towers guard, its light serving as both navigational aid and symbol of Old Town's permanence. Climbing the tower means ascending hundreds of steps, each level revealing windows that look out across the city, the harbor, the whispering sound beyond. From the top, you can see the citadel where Meisters study, the starry sept where the faith makes its home, the sprawling city that is Westeros's largest, oldest, and most learned. The tower stands as monument to endurance. It has survived wars, sieges, plagues, and political upheavals, maintaining its watch over Old Town through every crisis, as permanent as anything human hands have made can be. Lys sits on an island in the summer sea, a free city famous for beauty, pleasure, and the bed slaves it trains and exports across Essos and into Westeros. The Lyseni value aesthetics above almost all else. Their buildings are graceful, their gardens lush, their people concerned with appearance and refinement in ways that northern cultures find excessive. The city was founded as a Valyrian colony, and the blood of the freehold runs strong in its people. Silver gold hair and pale eyes appear frequently, though after 5,000 years of mixing with other populations, the pure Valyrian look has become less common. Lys's economy depends heavily on the slave trade, particularly pleasure slaves trained from childhood in arts both sensual and entertaining. These slaves command high prices across the known world, and the training houses of Lys are famous for the completeness of their instruction. The city also produces perfumes, cosmetics, and alchemical substances, trades that fit its focus on beauty and pleasure. Lys's fleet protects its merchant ships and occasionally engages in piracy when opportunity presents, maintaining the city's wealth through force when commerce proves insufficient. The political structure is complicated. Various factions compete for control, alliances shift constantly, and stability is relative. Visiting Lys means entering a world where everything is transaction, where beauty is commodity, where pleasure can be purchased but trust cannot. The island's atmosphere is oppressive despite its physical beauty, a reminder that societies built on selling human beings are fundamentally corrupt, regardless of how they decorate that corruption. Volantis calls itself the first daughter of Valyria, and among the free cities, it has perhaps the strongest claim to being the freehold's true heir. The city split distinctly into two populations: the old blood families within the Black Walls who maintain Valyrian heritage and customs, and the vastly more numerous slaves and freedmen who live outside those walls and do the actual work that keeps the city functioning. The old blood elect triarchs to rule, but only those who can trace pure Valyrian descent are eligible, a restriction that effectively limits power to a few dozen families. These families ride elephants through the city, the beasts serving as symbols of status and power, caparisoned in house colors and trained to trumpet at specific moments. The religion of Rahlor dominates Volantis. Red priests preach in the streets, fires burn constantly in temples, and slaves are sometimes sacrificed in flames to ensure the Lord of Light's favor. The long bridge that spans the Rhoyne at Volantis is itself a city, buildings constructed on it, merchants trading from permanent stalls, people living their entire lives without setting foot on either bank. The bridge serves as connection and barrier both. It links the city's halves while emphasizing their separation. Volantis dreams of restoring the Valyrian freehold, of conquering the other free cities and uniting them under Volantane rule. But these dreams remain fantasies, prevented by the other city's resistance and Volantis's own internal divisions. The old blood looked backward to glory that ended, the slaves look toward freedom they do not have, and the city exists in tension between past and present, between what it was and what it might become. Korth stands at the edge of the known world, where the Jade Sea meets lands less thoroughly mapped. The Qartheen call their city the Queen of Cities, the greatest city that is, or ever was, or ever will be, claims that reveal more about Qartheen arrogance than Qartheen accuracy. The city is wealthy beyond measure, its location making it the terminus for trade routes that bring goods from the furthest reaches of Yiti, Leng, Ashai, and lands beyond. Spices, silks, jade, gems, and stranger things flow through Korth's markets. The Qartheen dress in elaborate gowns and tokars that reveal as much as they conceal, considering modesty primitive and skin beautiful. The city's architecture is distinctive. Buildings of many colors, gardens lush with plants from across the world, walls that circle the city in 3 rings, each more ornate than the last. But Korth's beauty hides cruelty. The Undying and the House of the Undying are warlocks who preserve themselves through magic dark and terrible, appearing as dried corpses kept animate through powers they will not explain. The 13, Korth's ruling merchant princes, compete ruthlessly for wealth and influence, their games of power as dangerous as any battlefield. The Pureborn, descendants of ancient kings, maintain aristocratic pretensions while commanding decreasing actual power. Korth is a place of illusion. It appears beautiful, wealthy, civilized, but beneath the surface lies corruption, casual cruelty, and magic used without conscience. Daenerys Targaryen visited Korth and learned these truths, finding that the Queen of Cities was more desert mirage than solid reality. Beautiful from distance, but disappointing upon approach. A lesson about judging by appearance rather than substance.